All right, I'll try to answer this Mario's question. I think Mario is saying, what is the difference between volunteer work and free work? So let's start with that. What's the difference between volunteer work and free work? Volunteer work is free work. I think it's almost like looking at it as a subcategory of doing free work. So it's not different. It's just what is, because volunteer work is free work. So it's a category under free work, and it's the kind of category that somebody is saying we cannot afford to pay. And are you interested in working with us? So then it's initiated by the person that needs to work. You understand? So the person says, I can't afford to pay, or you suspect the person can't afford to pay, and then you put up yourself up for doing the work. So it's normally initiated either in a spoken way or unspoken way that this work I need to do, it's something I need someone to do out of their goodwill. You understand? So volunteer work can be something an NGO puts out there and say we need volunteers, so that the ones initiating that, or it could be a neighbor just saying I'm moving and I need someone to help me pack my stuff. You already know that that's volunteer work. You don't expect your neighbor to pay you for helping them move their chair or their furniture. You understand what I'm saying? So volunteer work is free work, and it's the kind of free work that is normally initiated by the person that needs the work done, and it can be initiated in an agreed way where they say they need volunteer, or it can just be something whereby you just use your social etiquette to know that I'm helping this person change their tire. It's volunteering to help the person. So you know that it's not something you expect payment for. So volunteer work is free work. But then I guess the kind of free work people normally look at is the one whereby you are offering your services for free. So it's initiated by you. And I guess that's what you're talking about here when you're talking about, you say, I think more than ever, a lot of brands are asking for volunteer, non-paid workers. Would you say working for free is better than working for less if this is a conscious decision? Is working for free better than working for less? It depends. And as you said, if it is your decision to work for free, it's better than being coerced, you understand, to work for less. Definitely better, because it's now you deciding, you understand? You are the deciding factor. So you are not a slave if you decide to work. You are a slave if you are coerced to work, if you have to work for free. You understand? That is slavery. That is the definition of slavery, where you have no choice. So slavery is when your choice is denied. It's not actually in the work. You understand? It's your choice being denied. You understand? That makes you a slave. That you don't have a say is what makes you a slave. So volunteer work or free work is better than work that pays less if you choose, without grumbling, you understand, to do the work for free. I think the last thing you're asking here is, how much exposure does a budding designer need to create pro bonos? Now, this is the one I really want to address. How much exposure do you need to have as a budding designer or as a budding anything in order to quit doing pro bono jobs? Now, I have to say this here, that working for free is not a rite of passage. It is not a due that you pay. A lot of people say it that way. I've paid my dues. I've worked for free. I worked for free for 2 years, for 5 years, so now I deserve to be paid. It is not a due. It's not a rite of passage. Say, oh, I work for free. A lot of people talk that way, and I don't think it's a right approach to doing free work. You understand? It's not. To say I've worked for free, I've done enough pro bonos, I've now graduated from being a budding designer or a budding professional to being an actual professional that deserves pay. No. Working for free is a choice. Working for free is a choice and an instinct. It's a human instinct that we have at every stage of our lives to give freely. To give people things at no cost is something the human being deep inside desires to do. Do you understand? It's what we were made to do. Do you understand? It is the God nature. Do you understand that we battle with every day? And that's why when you don't give, there's a sadness that you have when you just amass. There's a sadness. And that's the Western disease. That's the Western guilt that they always feel. That's why you have a lot of charity organizations abroad and stuff that say they're taking care of African children. And a lot of people abroad are paying for those so-called, in quote, African children. Because in the Western society, they feel very privileged, but they feel that human need to say, I have been blessed with so much, I should be able to bless others. You understand what I'm saying? So doing stuff for free is it's an instinct, it's a nature instinct. It calls out to us. It is not a tactics, and we should not use it as a tactics. It is not a right of way. It is not a due that you pay that says you can do this much, and after this much you can begin to charge people without a burden of doing things for free. It's a choice. It's a choice to do stuff for free. And I think I would even go as far as saying we use doing stuff for free as a measure of how small we are. So a lot of people will say, oh, I'm still very small. Nobody knows me yet, so I should probably work for free. So we use it as a measure of being small. But actually, doing stuff for free is a measure of how big you are. So what we should be saying is, I've gotten so big, I should be able to do more for free. You understand? I've gotten so big. I'm no longer burdened. I'm now a professional. You understand? I'm now established in this. I should be able to do more for free. But what do we see? The more established we become, the more we exploit. You understand? The more we say, don't they know who I am? They should pay. But that now shows that you are still small, even when you have grown. Because you see, one of the measures of maturity is sacrifice. And one of the measure of immaturity is always wanting your way. You understand? So the older you get, the more you should be able to sacrifice. You understand? So I remember growing up as a child, and then when my dad would come back from work, and we would all go and eat with him. And it just used to surprise me how he would eat and just give his meat to us, and he would not eat any meat. You understand? He won't eat any meat, and we would just eat it. Because then, as children, meat was important to us, so I couldn't imagine giving my meat to my sisters. I couldn't imagine. It just couldn't happen. But then my dad would come and just share his meat, and he wouldn't eat any meat. But you see, him giving us his meat freely was a measure of how big he was. Me not able to give my sister meat freely was a measure of how small I was. So the more you grow, the more you should give freely. So it's not a matter of how much exposure do you need before you can quit pro bono. You understand? The real question is, how much do you need to grow before you embrace this life of giving pro bono? Because that is the life of freedom. Do you understand? That is what actually sets you free. That you feel confident enough as a person to say, look, I'm not living by how much I'm able to squeeze money out of people, but really I'm living by building relationship, by how much money is not a hindrance to me connecting with people. So the bigger you are, the more you should give freely. You understand? But that's not what happens, because if you look at society, the richest men don't give freely. You understand? The richest, so you see companies, they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and they stop giving. So when you even look at software companies, I remember there's this company called Vectizi. And before I used to go to Vectizi, when they just started out, they had a lot of free stuff. But immediately they get acquired, and Paul has injected money into Vectizi, everything is paid. You understand? That's a faulty mentality. When Vectizi gets acquired and they have more resources, they should give more. You understand? They should be able to give more. But they go against that law of nature, and that's why companies like Vectizi, in a short time, they will fold up. You understand? They will get overridden by other companies that are willing to embrace what nature tells us to do more. So my answer to you, Mario, is don't have this mentality of I'm burdened. When can I lift this burden of pro bono off me? No. Pro bono is a natural instinct that we should lean into the more we grow, not grow out of. And I hope that makes sense to you and every other person listening.